Mississippi and all surrounding areas, you tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts now live on the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did. And by great weekend, I mean I worked all weekend. But I got a lot done, so it wasn't all a loss. Spent some time at home. We had some good food over the weekend. I think I'm on the last episode of the new season of Stranger Things. It's about 2 hours long. I tried to watch it all last night and hit pause and realized there was a whole nother hour left after I was about an hour into it. So I figured that probably means it's the finale. It's pretty good. So far, so good. It gets a little weird towards the end, as most supernatural shows do. But I do love the throwback to the early 80s. I guess this would be the mid 80s. It's based in 1986. On this one, and that's a little bit more in my alley. I would have been 9 years old in 86. And, man, they do such a great job with that show, with the way they throw it back and the attention to detail, the music, the clothes, the cars, the decorations in the houses, just everything. I mean, it really, really takes me back. They had a scene, well, several scenes. A lot of it's filmed in a high school. And man, it's one of the rare times that I think Hollywood got it right when they were trying to imitate children in a high school, because it really reminded me of going to Witten. I guess that'd be a middle school or junior high. Reminded me of Witten, and then when I was up in Byram, it really, really, I think they hit the nail on the head and they did it right. So if you still have Netflix, I recommend checking out the new season of Stranger Things. You don't necessarily have to have watched the prior seasons to jump into this. I mean, it will help, but you can watch the recap, get the gist of it, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's very non-political. There's nothing. There's no grooming in it, I don't believe. if there's something subliminal, I missed it. So I think you can enjoy it. The only reason I resubscribed to Netflix was so I could watch the final few episodes of Ozark. And I hadn't gotten around to that yet. But anyway, Stranger Things, I recommend it. I don't want to give anything away, but I think you will enjoy it. If you like this show and you like our throwback type stuff, you'll enjoy it. So with that said, Saturday evening, I'm sitting on the couch, and I start getting first, real quick, if you want to call into the show, the Mcconaughey Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowwood phone number is 601-879-0002. Would love to hear from you guys. And the Guns and Gear text line. Man, you guys have been lighting me up all weekend over a bunch of this stuff. I love it. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. One more time, 769-241-1944. And just a heads up, that comes to me 24/7. That's an app on my phone. So just because I'm not on the show doesn't mean you can't text me. Unfortunately, the other guys here, they don't have access to this text line. We're working on getting one set up that everybody has access to. But right now, this is just mine. So I do sometimes get y'all's texts where you think you're texting one of the other guys, and I do try to pass those along, especially Thomas's hate towards Jameson. I make sure Jameson sees all of that, Thomas. So it is not in vain. It comes to me, not Jameson. Okay, so I'm sitting there Saturday night. I'm minding my own business. I'm trying to decompress a little. Because, when you do this for a living and you've got to you've got to stay plugged into the news to do this radio show. I mean, I truly believe that. That's what y'all tune in for, is to hear my opinion on the news and maybe hear about things you didn't know about. And I feel like that's probably what's about to happen right now. So I'm sitting there Saturday night and I start getting tagged in some tweets. And you can go see this if you need visual confirmation yourself. I do recommend it, but make sure the kids are not listening because it is vulgar. In Dallas, I know you've heard of the movie, The Dallas Buyers Club. Well, move over, Matthew McConaughey. The Dallas Groomers Club was in effect live Saturday night in Dallas, or most likely Saturday morning. I think it was a midday matinee. There's a gay club in Dallas called Mr. Mister. I got you, Mister. I think there's a South Park joke about that somewhere, with the Canadians with their flopping heads like garbage cans. So, at the gay club called Mr. Mister, they decided during Dallas Pride Month to have Drag Your Kids to Pride. That's the name of the event. Drag Your Kids to Pride. And in this gay club, basically what it is a gay strip club. They had a bunch of transgenders in there doing a drag show for kids. Folks, we have crossed the Rubicon. There is no turning back. There is no turning back. We are George Washington. We have crossed the Rubicon, the Delaware, whatever you want to call it. Whatever analogy you want to use. It is July 3rd, 1776. We're in a tavern right now with the fate of the world in our hands. What are we going to do? It is time to stand up and fight back. For the last 25 years, we just wanted to be left alone. We just wanted to be able to make a little money, enjoy our lives, take care of our kids, just be left alone. We didn't care what you did in your bedrooms, inside your homes. Nobody cared, but you started having to peel the onion back. You started having to push this stuff further and further and further in our faces. It started with a kiss on Will and Grace. That was the first time a same-sex couple had a kiss on screen on a TV show. And it just went on and on from there. Next thing you know, you're shoving Ellen down our throats. Then everything, it's from Pride Day to Pride Week to Pride Month. Hell, at this point, you'll keep expanding two things. The alphabet mafia letters, you keep adding letters to it. Basically, the entire thing is everything but straight white people. And you even got the ally in there for let me rephrase it, everything but straight white conservative Christian people. Because you even put the A in there for your allies, air quotes here. That's for white liberals because they want to be a protected class too. They may not be gay. They may not be black. They may not be trans. But they're an ally, so they are a protected class too. Just in case you didn't know, in case you have to slap the sense out of one of them, it might be a hate crime if they identify as an ally. You heard that here. Look at me protecting you. This is like law call here on the Clay Edwards Show. I'm just warning you. This is how they think. The white liberal has wanted to be a protected class for a long time, and they have finally figured out how to do it. But so they keep adding letters to the alphabet. And now they keep adding colors to the Democratic national flag. And you're asking yourself, well, Clay, I didn't know the Democrats had their own flag. Well, of course they have their own flag. It's that rainbow monstrosity that they keep adding colors to. Like they recently added black and brown to it. Now, I don't know what color in the rainbow flag is, what gay version of black and what does that represent? It doesn't. That is races. That is what that is. That is races. Now that flag engulfs everything that's not, I don't even know how to, it's gross. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that get some black and brown on them that represent all that, but what are we doing? I saw where Bryson Gray, black conservative rapper, runs from my boy Topher, saw where he burned one of these flags in his new music video. Man, it got me fired up. I was like, I want to burn one of those flags. I'm going to do that. I will keep y'all posted when I find the extra change to secretly get a gay flag sent to my house, or I don't even want to call it the gay flag, the LGBTQ Elemento P BLM flag sent to my house, and I will go out to the front yard and I will live stream burning it. I bet the DOJ will pay me a visit for a hate crime if I do it. You can burn the American flag, but don't you burn our gay flag. Don't you do it. Don't you burn the gay United States of America flag. All right, look, I'm getting a little off here, but so what was really interesting about watching the fallout from the Dallas Groomers Club incident was there were some irate parents and patriots outside. And, of course, you know that the people who drug their kids to this should all be arrested for child abuse. And then there's transgenders in there groping up on the children. That is sexual assault, by the way. And it's on video. That is sexual assault. They're sexually assaulting these kids, giving them lap dances. And these are kids. I'm not talking about a 14 or 15-year-old, not somebody with a driving license or a learner's permit here. I'm talking about 8 and 9-year-olds getting lap dances at drag queen happy hour. We just wanted to be left alone, but y'all could not leave things well enough alone. These are the same people that are coming for your guns too, by the way. These are the same people that want to be able to kill babies in post-birth abortions. But they don't want you to have a gun because we got to save the lives of children. Nothing these people do is about life. Everything is about death and depopulation. Every single thing they do. Every single policy they promote. So the fallout from the event, you need to go to my Save JXN Twitter feed to see it. I can't play it on the radio. It's a lot of cussing. And you need the visual representation. But the drag queens come out to the parking lot. They're walking to their car. They're being stalked by God-fearing patriots giving them hell. It is amazing to watch. And because it's like a vampire that got caught by the sun. It's horrible. There's one of them. It's a fat one. And, of course, he drives a Hyundai Veloster. I knew it. I knew something about those cars when I worked at Hyundai. Of course, he drives a Hyundai Veloster. And he's slapping the hood. Let me in. Let me unlock the door. Unlock the door. He's actually on the passenger side. The fat one was telling everybody their mama was a witch with a B. Yeah, your mama's a witch. Anyway, again, I do it no justice. You need to go see it for yourselves. But, folks, the fact that they were doing this in broad daylight, they don't care. They think they're virtuous, and what they're doing is virtuous. They live in such a bubble that they don't think anything's wrong with any of this. Until they get some resistance. They're like, what do you mean that I can't grope up on kids and grind my bottom on kids' laps? But their parents brought them. Well, there's parents that sell their kids into the sex trade and human trafficking. Clearly, liberals don't need to have kids. Maybe I need to change my opinion on abortion because some of these people don't need to be having kids. If this is what you're going to do to your kids when they grow up, you might want to consider other options. Plan B at bare minimum. My God. So Alex Stein is a reporter, does a lot of internet stuff. He's a great follow on Twitter. It's like Alex Stein 99 or something like that. Anyway, he was there on the scene, and these parents, of course, all look like Antifa members. They've all still got these damn masks on because they know they're breaking the law. That's why they're wearing masks, because they know they're breaking the law. So he snatches the mask off one of these people. And it was a glorious sight. It was a glorious sight. I highly recommend going and checking out that video on the Save Jackson Twitter feed. All right, we've got a call here on the Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line. Or we had a call on the Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB.
America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armor in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armor in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armor can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armor should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armor is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armor also proudly backs the blue, all military and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armor is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmorMS.com. Auto Armor, unapologetically American.
All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by, let's see here, how about Mcconaughey Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram right over there in Flowood. You can check them out online if you were looking to buy a car, sell a car, or trade your car in and get you a new car. Man, look, go out there and see them at Mcconaughey. They're one of the few dealerships in town, especially new car, that actually have a lot of new cars available. And, of course, they have a huge selection of pre-owned out there. So go check them out. See my buddy Corey, Brandon, or Parker. They're the managers. They're going to take good care of you. Their inventory is available to view online at McConaugheyCDJRF.com. That's just the initials for Mcconaughey Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Flowood. McConaugheyCDJRF.com. They're located right there at 4000 Lakeland Drive. That's, you know where that is. It's right there at Airport Road on Lakeland next to Rick's Pro Truck. You know where it's at. It's been there for years. And give them a call, 601-821-1614. But I recommend hitting up the website or just going by there. Tell them you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show. Much appreciated. All right, so this Dallas Groomers Club deal, I just don't want to let it go, man. Because if it isn't that, it's something else. I don't understand the obsession with forcing this on children. If you want to go live that life, by all means, nobody cares what you do. Where it affects us is you're trying to do this to kids. And then it's coming down from the top. And I just don't understand why media, I mean, if you have a streaming service this month, I have Discovery, I use a Fire Stick on a couple of my TVs. So if you just go into the Amazon portal to click on the apps you watch, this ain't even stuff you pay for. This is just the home screen on Fire Stick, the big banner photo at the top. Everything is Pride Month this, gay this, trans this, drag queen, drag show, RuPaul, etc., etc. Everything. Did y'all see where the Kraft, some say it's photoshopped, but we've reached such peak stupidity and idiocracy that it doesn't seem photoshopped to me. It seems absolutely like something you would see on the shelves on the shelves at the grocery store. And that is this Kraft Gayo. It's like mayo, but gayo. Like Ayo, but gayo. And they would have to do that to mayonnaise too, right? And on the bottom it reads classy and sassy. And it's rainbow. I don't know. Am I in the Twilight Zone? Am I in Stranger Things? I feel like I'm living in Otherworld or whatever they call it. The Upside Down world. Clown world is where I'm living at. Clown world. But anyway, apparently you can find Gayo on the shelves of your local grocery store for Pride Month. And we thought the Juneteenth ice cream was bad. You know what I loved about the Juneteenth ice cream? Is it was the generic brand. If there was ever something so fitting, then Walmart, Great Value is their generic brand there. They did it with their generic brand. Good Lord. And, of course, it got yanked off the shelves. Hopefully the gayo will get ripped off the shelves, too. I almost went to Walmart yesterday because, I don't think the little locally owned grocery stores out there in Brandon would sell it. At least I hope not. But I almost went out to the Walmart to see if they had any. But then I just said, I hate going to Walmart so much that the last thing I want to do is go into Walmart for something I don't want. First off, I'm a Duke's Mayo guy. And even if I bought a thing of Kraft Gayo, it would only be for the joke of buying it because I would never actually use Kraft Mayo. Gayo. Ayo. Anyway, so speaking of gay, and look, if you're gay, by all means, the Clay Edwards Show loves you. We have no problems with you. Unfortunately, your movement has been hijacked by the T in the movement and by this insane agenda from the LGBTQ BLM mafia. You see what I'm saying here, right? Like you can be gay and unaffiliated with the agenda. So I don't ever want to come across as an anti-gay or a homophobe because that's not it here. Maybe a transphobe a little bit, because they're crazy. They're absolutely nut jobs. But gay folks, you're welcome. You're welcome to the barbecue anytime. I love y'all. I just want to put that out there. Y'all are cool with me. But here's some interesting information. I was curious the other day, man, and it seems like there's more and more and more gay folks running around, and especially transgenders running around. So I did a little research. I wanted to see, I wanted to break it down by generation. Like I'm a Gen X, my parents are boomers. Then there's millennials, and there's Gen Z. I kind of out of order there. How about there's baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, then Gen Z. Gen Z are people who were born between 97 and 2002. And that's all the data I've been able to get here. So, but I think most of them are 19, 20, 21, somewhere in that neighborhood. Early 20s. So that's a good starting point. So if you break it down, and these statistics are good through 2020. This is the rise in homosexuality based on the different generations of Americans. They even have the traditional generation, I believe it's called. What is it? The traditionalist people born between 1913 and 1945. They do represent 1.3% of the gay community. Some really old gay folks there. Then we got, next up is the baby boomers. That's people born between 46 and 64. They represent 2% of the active homosexuals in America. And then is my generation, the smallest generation ever born. At least I'm kind of a sub-generation of Gen X. But anyway, Gen Xers, that's people born between 1965 and 1979. I was born in 77, so I fall right in there. Only 3.8% of Gen Xers are gay. So we were the last generation to grow up and be able to play outside without computers and smartphones and so on and so forth. Well, then comes the next generation, the millennials, and this is the generation that grew up with the internet, basically from day one. From the time they started school to the time they finished school, they had internet. They had AOL. They had dial-up at bare minimum. When they finished high school, they absolutely had high-speed internet. So they grew up with access to the internet and younger people on social media and whatnot. Anyway, 9.1% of millennials are gay. And these are people that are openly gay, by the way, that did this, wherever Statista got this information from. Now, that is a big jump from Gen X at 3.8% to millennials at 9.1%. And keep in mind, these numbers are only good through 2020. I bet you if you did a study now in 22, that these numbers would be even higher because they keep pushing this agenda further and further down our throats. Pun intended. All right, but here's the big one here. Gen Z. These are, again, folks born between 97 and 02. it spikes. It goes up from 9.1% to 15.9% of Gen Zers are gay. Folks, Gen Xers, this is our kids. A lot of our kids. So for somehow, some way, Gen Xers, at only 3.8% of homosexuals, have raised the largest amount of openly gay LGBT. It doesn't specify gay or trans or whatever, just LGBT kids. What happened? I'm just curious. I have a theory, and I'm going to tell it to you on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. And if you want to call in, Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line, 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 WYAB in Central Mississippi, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. And if you missed any of this, if you want to share this show with people, if you heard something that really piqued your interest this morning and you think somebody you know needs to hear it, the podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms. It's uploaded every day within about 30 minutes of the show going off the air. So by 9:30 on Monday and Tuesdays and by 8:30 the rest of the week, the show is available. And we hope everybody will share that with somebody. And look, I'm telling you, people need to hear these kind of voices too. Because if you're leaving it to your kids to just hear it on the internet and just hear it on TV, they're going to get the agenda. They need to know that there's other people out there with a sane, rational mindset. Now, we may sound like extremists because sane and rational is the other side of the argument, but we're just in the middle. We're just good God-fearing folks. All right, we got a caller on the Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Well, it goes back to the breakdown of the family unit, in my opinion. I mean, what it is that if you look at those statistics, it's progressively gone worse and worse and worse with family divorce, kids not going hunting, kids not going fishing, they're all detached from their parents. So those statistics are going to go up yearly because you have more divorce and you have more separation of the family. I mean, that's just my opinion.
You have a really good point there. Also, could it be too with both parents typically working in a household now where mom's not as, because look, both parents are having to work to pay the bills nowadays, unless one of them has a really, really good job. Unlike say 30 or 40 years ago where you could support a family on one good income. Now it takes two. Could some of it have to do even in undivorced parents' homes? Because I know people who were happily married for 30, 40 years that have kids that strayed this way. I mean, could it be that they were just raised up with that dang iPad in their hand? And
well, I mean, I can agree with that too. I mean, I'm 50. My mother stayed at home, but my parents still were divorced. So, I mean, at 5 kids, we all just picked a parent basically and went with that.
Sure.
And I'm not being hypocritical in any way, but I mean, I've been married and divorced 3 times, and I raised 2 of my kids pretty much by myself. But I mean, I've been very blessed, very fortunate. I mean, my kids, they don't drink, they don't do drugs, and I've got one at Southern that's almost finished. I mean, but what I see just in the regular public is that people, it's not that they don't care about their kids, it's that they don't have time for them anymore. They don't put the time in. They're too self-centered and too selfish a lot of the times, if not just too busy. But I call busy selfish because you make time for your kids if you love your kids, and you sacrifice time. You sacrifice that money because you can't buy that back.
No, hey, you're 100% right. And look, I don't, for the sake of sounding like a hypocrite, I don't sit here from the top of a perch and pretend I did it all right either. I did throw an iPhone in my kid's hand way too early, and I was self-absorbed doing stuff I wanted to do. I'm trying to make up for all of it now. But look, as you know, by the time they're 19, 20 years old, trying to skydive in and what do you want to call it? What do they call it? Helicopter parenting? It ain't going to work.
Well, all I'm saying is that if you don't put the time in, it's what you get. And parents, if they do complain about one thing or another about this kid or that kid or somebody else's kid, it's because the parent didn't do their job, in my opinion. I mean, that's just solely on me, and I may just get crucified for it. But your child is a product of your creation, and whatever that child does, it's something triggers. It's nothing that they're born. You train your children. You raise your children, and that's what happened. That's what's happening to this generation. Right. And it's the parents' fault. They can't blame anybody but the parents.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother, 100%. I mean, we all got to look in the mirror sometimes and say, hey, bro, you did this to you. And that's where we're at. Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother.
That's my 2 cents, and thank you.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Great call there. I want to get to this point real quick because in the second hour here, Michael Cassidy will be joining us again today. He's going to be all over WYAB today. We appreciate Michael Cassidy. He's running the Republican primary against Michael Guest in District 3 for Congress here in Mississippi. The election is Tuesday, so make sure you guys get out there and vote for whoever you decide to vote for. I have a theory outside of just the parenting issue as to why so many young men, I can't speak for women, but so many young men are turning to homosexuality at a younger age. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it brought up a good point. And look, I didn't have time to go deep dig up data stuff, so I'm kind of remembering off the top of my head here. I think I can break it down in easy to understand language for you guys. We'll call it blue collar explanation here. Dating apps. Dating apps have been great for single people. I think most people can agree, that hey, if you're remotely a decent looking guy or girl, you can get all the dates you want. You have a wide option of people to choose from. And what I think has ended up happening as we've moved further along into this, and we'll use Tinder, for example, swipe left, swipe right. If you link up with somebody that thought you looked good enough to swipe your way, yeah, you get to make a decision. Hi, do I want to slide in that DM, I guess? Well, imagine being a 20-year-old girl. And having a 20-year-old daughter, I hate using this analogy, but I will. Imagine having being a 20-year-old attractive female. You're at college. A 20-year-old college guy hits you up and says, hey, you want to hang out? I really ain't got much money, but we can go to quarter pitcher night, or we can go hang out in my dorm or something, whatever college kids do, ride around. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Well, then say a 25-year-old guy who's into his career, has at minimum, rents a house, an apartment, maybe owns a house. He hits you up. Good looking guy. Says, hey, you want to go out to eat, check out a movie, then we can go back to my house, have some drinks, chill, whatever. Most young girls are going to say, that sounds like more fun. Let's go hang out with the older guy. So what it's doing is it's removing a large group of girls from the dating pool for guys their age. Most girls are dating older guys. The average age that most men lose their virginity now has gone up to 25 years old. I don't want to get into my personal business too much, but let's just say Clay wasn't 25. We'll just say that. Clay didn't wait till he was 25. My daughter was born when I was 25. But Clay didn't wait till he was 25. The average age for most men lose their virginity is 25 years old now. Do you think somewhere, just imagine being a 17, 18-year-old boy, how bad you wanted to, just all that testosterone flowing, going through puberty, just all that stuff. Imagine just being completely removed from the dating pool because older dudes are swiping in and scooping up all the girls your age. And we can get into a conversation about that being right, wrong, and moral, whatever, but for the sake of this conversation. So you're sitting there and you're like, maybe girls don't like me. Maybe I should just be gay. And you've got this whole other group of outcasts out there that if they ever want to feel anything other than self-pleasure, maybe they're like, well, yeah, you're back to the pal. That's a South Park reference. I don't know. Am I on to something here? Am I just crazy? Could this be a self-esteem issue because they're not getting any girls through the modern ways of dating? Like when I was coming up, you had to have game, son. You had to be able to walk up to a girl, make conversation, and make them like you quick. I mean, it was like speed dating. That's real. You had to be a good speed dater. You had to be able to come up, make eye contact, make them laugh, find out what they drink really quick, whatever scenario, whatever, most people met at bars. I mean, Inez's, the catwalk. I don't even name none of the ones I owned, but when I was younger out having fun, that was what you did. You had to have game. You had to present yourself nice, not just having the perfect little profile picture. You had to be able to sell yourself. All right, man, we got a call here on the Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Hey, I was going to give you my suggestion or idea of what I think was, get people, you say there's a lot more people now that came out or whatever.
Well, that's what the statistics say anyway. I'm just kind of going by the stats. And it does feel that way, but if social media makes the world smaller, so it always makes you feel like it's more of something. But go ahead.
Well, I had an uncle that, he's still around, but I think he might have been kind of molested by my grandmother. And everybody thought he was, as he was growing up, that he seemed kind of weird. But, he went off and got married and had kids and all that. Then after the kids grown up, he came out the closet and left his wife for a man. So I'm thinking there's a lot of these transgenders and gay people, I guess they were probably sexually abused when they were children or molested.
That is a good point. There are some statistics out there that say that too, that a lot of these, especially on the transgender side, that they were sexually abused as children. So that is worth noting.
And I think you got some of them out there. They probably need some psychiatric help, but I think that's the reason why they feel like they have some kind of connection with children.
Yeah, that's peeling the onion back, man. I mean, you make sense.
I don't support their ideas and stuff, especially like we talking about the gay bar out there in Dallas. But I think you got a lot of people that are pulling the shots and stuff that are allowing this to happen. Yeah.
Now I will say, with all that said, the fact that it's illegal, or it dang well better be illegal, having the wanting to cater to or be around, that's still illegal. They like to call it, Democrats have changed the name of pedophile to minor attracted person.
Yeah.
But hey, look, brother, I got to take a break here. We're up against it. I appreciate your call. Great stuff this morning. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hey, that's a great point there. Look, you're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. We got some text we'll come back and read here on the Guns and Gear text line, right here on the other side of the break on 103.9 WYAB. Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint, right over there on Lakeland Drive and at their new campus over off Flowwood Drive. If you need your car windows tinted, windshield replaced, home or business windows tinted, or your vehicle or a wall or a countertop or whatever you have, trailer, heavy equipment, any of that, you need it wrapped with your logo. Lakeland Glass and Tint, they can do it all. Where quality matters. 601-946-1000 or lakelandglassandtint.com. And on the Mcconaughey Flowwood phone line, we have got Derek. Hey, Derek, you got about a minute.
Hey, real quick, man, to go with the caller's last point, it is born out of childhood victimization, because you got to understand, people that experience gender dysphoria as well as homosexuality display the 5 stages of grief, which is closely similar to the 5 stages of mental illness. There's denial, there's anger, there's bargaining, there's depression, then there's acceptance. So, yes, it is a mental illness, and they should start treating it as such. Appreciate you taking my call, friend.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Yeah, Derek makes a great point there. Appreciate Derek joining me and Kim out there at McLean for the Rankin County Republican breakfast this past Saturday. Great seeing Miss Christiane as well and her mental health campaign and doing great work. Great seeing her out there. It's great seeing everybody. Hey, real quick, before the top of the hour break here on the Guns and Gear text line. A lot of people saying that it has a lot to do with parenting. I've got some text here, but I'm not going to have time to get to them. I'll read them on the other side of this break. Also, not going to get to it today. We're going to do this tomorrow. There's been a hate crime hoax up in Hernando. I want to talk about that. We'll dive into it in detail tomorrow. But coming up here, we've got Michael Cassidy online with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.